Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a really quick tutorial on how I make my pendulums. So these are two that I've made, and I just start with a bead. Both of these are just plastic beads. They look kind of fancy, but they're really just plastic. And then you're going to need like a jump ring, a chain, and then some type of charm. I like to hold it by the charm instead of holding the actual chain itself. So there are, I can just show you another one, just a different style. Chain, and then this is the charm that I use. So there are some different YouTube videos that show how to make pendulums. I think that this is a pretty simple way to do it, depending on what materials you have on hand already. And then even just going out and getting some things from a craft store, I think you can make this with $10 or less. So I just went to the craft store and got some stuff, and I'm going to make one and show you, kind of walk you through the process. So the first thing that I did, and actually I don't have all of my jewelry making materials, and just to let you know too, this is rudimentary jewelry making because I am terrible at wire wrapping and any kind of jewelry stuff. I have materials, I have tools, but I'm not terribly good at making jewelry. So you don't need any really, top-notch jewelry skills. But what I did was I went out and I got this chain, and the reason why I got this is for two reasons. Number one, I don't have my wire cutters handy anymore. So this already is a chain that I can use as is without having to cut it. It's a nice length already. And it's already got, you can see, it has all of these little charms on it. So these are great if you want to save charms for later for something, for charm casting perhaps. And then there's different colors, and I'm going to keep one of these charms to use as the charm that I hold the pendulum with. And just so that you know, this was just $2.99. Okay, so I've got my chain here. I've also got lots of jump rings already, so I didn't have to buy extra jump rings. There are plenty of jump rings, already on this. And then the next thing that I saw was these, the bead that I want to use is actually a little charm. So the weight that I want to use was this arrow charm. It actually comes two to a set. You can see that it's just $2.99 for the set. So I can make two of these, two pendulums. And what I did beforehand was test the weight, because I have some of these arrow charms. I have a different style, and they're very lightweight. So I did want to see, this one's a little bit different, this type of charm. It's not like one-sided. But I hold it in my hand just to kind of see, is there any weight there? You do want the pendulum to have that weighted part, to have some weight to it. It shouldn't feel light in your hand. So that is something that I would suggest that you kind of test out to see beforehand. And so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take this chain, and I want to get all of these jump rings off of the chain. So all that I have is just chain left. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the recording. I'll be back. Okay, so now I've gotten my chain together. I took off all of those jump rings, and I just have the chain. And I measured it. It's just a little over 5 inches. And I think that for doing using a pendulum, having a chain that's somewhere between 5 maybe to 7 inches is ideal. So this is a great length. So I've got my chain. I've got my weight. Okay, and I've also got, I kept one of the little charms. This is the charm that I'm going to use just because it's kind of like the same color. So this is the charm I'm going to use with it. And so I kept it right on one of the jump rings, and I'll show you how I put that together in just a moment. And then I kept one of the jump rings and I separated it from the charm. So this is just one of the jump rings. This is just a needle nose plier. I'm going to show you how I put it all together. So the first thing that I'm going to use is my weight or my bead, whatever it is that you're using for your weight. And I'm just going to put that right onto the jump ring. And then I'm going to put my chain on the other end, like this, okay? And now I'm going to use my pliers just to close the jump ring back up. And you'll notice when you do a jump ring, you don't pull them out this way, you just pull them apart like this, forward or back. And I'm just using my fingers. And I'm just going to pull it back into place. Actually, I need to take my glasses off to see. So I just pulled it back right into place. Okay. And then you can see the jump ring that's attached now. So we're pretty much done. You can just keep it like this if you want to. Like I said, I always like to put a charm on the end. So all we're going to do is just take this little end here of the chain and attach it to the charm, the jump ring that's attached to the charm. I'm just taking the pliers, I'm just going to pull them back into place. Okay, just pulling it back into place. And now I have my chain, my charm, my weight, and my full pendulum. I'm just testing it out. You probably can't see my hand. I'm testing it out on my palm just to see if I get my typical response that I usually do. And I am. It's usually a clockwise movement over my palm. I'm turning my palm face down. I'm just seeing if I'm getting my typical response to the back of my hand. And I am. So this one's going to be really interesting. I haven't used an arrow before. I think it will be unique because it's so narrow here at the end. And sometimes when you deal with pendulum charts, they're very narrow. So I'm hoping that this will help me to point out, very specifically what area of the chart it's pointing to. So it will take me a little getting used to working with this pendulum, but I'm just really excited to have created another one. I may even create another one now. But basically all of my pendulums, like the ones that you saw, I have, let's see, another one that I made with just a different kind of bead, chain, and then just a different charm on the end. To me, they all feel a little different. So when you make one, just get a feel, you kind of have to work with it a little bit, get a feel for it. But that's my process. Again, it's just some type of weight or bead. Make sure you have jump rings, and then some type of chain and maybe a little charm to go on the end. Have fun.